if I can say something. This is the room of the FNAF Theory community. It's so awful that it's amazing.
And I listen to other people, not this guy. I don't listen to wrong theories.
So for today, we're going to do 2 more.
Can I say, this man has jumped the shark more than Scott has.
I mean, time-traveling ball pits actually makes sense now.
That's the problem here.
Scott has jumped the shark so many times that he can make a new shark animatronic just to jump it.
No. Left, this guy has made time-traveling ball pits make sense.
He made Freddy in Space Ace's existence make sense.
He made FNAF World seem canon.
Need a night guard.
He made FNAF World canon!
One ghost already provide paranoid security. And there's nothing to steal. The main dining area looks nice, but the halls to either side of your office are littered with cobwebs and trash. There hasn't been a paying customer at this location in years. Phone knows exactly what it looks like when someone gets stuffed into an animatronic suit.
None of the robots, none of the money in the cash register.
He's overseen at least 3 generations of possessed robots. Whoever designed your office knew robots were going to attack you, and installed Star Wars quality blast doors to keep them out. Fazbear Entertainment must have a powerful source of income in order to replace the blood-soaked carpets every 90 days and remove all traces anyone died there. Yet it hires clueless strangers at minimum wage for an incredibly dangerous job, and artificially limits the power to the building. It's like Phone Guy wants you to die. The company must be receiving a resource of great value in order to risk fortune, freedom, life, and sanity in order to acquire it. But the only asset Fazbear Entertainment is earning is a pile of dead security guards. What in the literal hell is going on? I'm Blackfoot Ferret, and welcome to the pilot episode of FNAF Theory Shorts. I've been theorizing about the story of Five Nights at Freddy's for almost 2 years now, and have made many recent discoveries, some of which confirm my earlier videos, and others which change the story completely. So rather than backtrack and list what worked and what didn't, I'm going to recap the current shape of my theories in smaller, bite-sized pieces in this new series. Today's question: why is Fazbear Entertainment harvesting security guards? Short answer: their souls are being stolen. The long answer that proves this requires fitting together several pieces of the lore in the very heart of what Five Nights at Freddy's is about. Not the colorful animal costumes of the animatronics, but the mad science of the robots inside them. First, let's talk about stuffing, the unique and consistent method of the murders at Freddy's.
Whoa there, friend, this is YouTube,
have their bodies physically crushed inside an animatronic suit, and how this is not the method a killer would use to save time hiding the bodies. A murderous sociopath strapped for time would have many better options at a pizza place. Roast a body in an oven, toss a body in the meat grinder, throw one in the trash, borrow a Fargo wood chipper and dump the remains in the tomato sauce vat. The Punisher would enjoy the varied environmental fatality options, and Sweeney Todd would appreciate the culinary opportunities. What doesn't make sense is smashing a human body inside the intricate steel framework of an animatronic. This is far beyond the human level of physical strength, and would require the raw power of the Hulk or Star Wars garbage masher to systematically break every bone and tear every tendon in your body until the shredded pieces finally fit in an endoskeleton. And all this painstaking time and effort would simply destroy any life and sentience inside the body, and turn it into a soupy mess that would leak out of the endoskeleton onto the floor, easily detectable by even FNAF World's bumbling police. Stuffing a whole human body seamlessly into an animatronic in such a way that it would actually stay there and be recognizable as such isn't a fast, desperate gimmick. It's a massive engineering challenge that would require tons of preparation. The act itself wouldn't be possible for humans unless a tool had been specially designed for it ahead of time, which is why Fazbear Entertainment did invent a tool to do just that: the spring suits. Transforming endoskeletons that can use spring locks to push open a space inside themselves for a human to fit and wear them like that. As nifty and impressive as they are, the spring suits are incredibly impractical. Even building a basic walking robot would be amazing enough in the 1980s. Building a working transformer would cost millions of $1983 and enter the realm of science fiction. It would be much simpler and safer just to make 2 identical fursuits and put one on a robot than let a human use the spare and pretend to be the robot in disguise. For that matter, why are spring locks even needed? The genius who could design a real transformer could also make one that was safe. Why make an endoskeleton whose spring locks are constantly under intense pressure and could fail at any moment and crush the person inside, when you could just make an exoskeleton from the beginning that had no spring locks and was perfectly safe? Answer,
Do people forget that these robots were
the
likely
design
designed
from the
by
beginning.
William Afton?
The spring suits are supposed to shift back to animatronic form while someone is still wearing them, stuffing their body
No,
inside the
that's
robot
not
and
the
forcing an
intention.
organic human and a metal robot to
That's
become
William
not the
one
was
intention
saying-
at all.
And this is
William
the
was
key
saying
to
at
the
this
FNAF
time-
that they would
95 phone
easily
call.
bind
A
back
reference
to
to
the
the singular work of
endoskeleton if a
philosophy
human
from the early
thin
1900s
endoskeleton
called
was put
The
in.
Autobiography of a Yogi.
William
In
was
this
saying
book,
at this
Dr. Bosey
time-
talks about his theory of the unity of all life and demonstrates through several
William
scientific
Afton only
experiments that
died
were way
because he
ahead of their
panicked.
time that traits we've come to think about as animal, fatigue, depression, recovery, exaltation, and death, can not only be found in plants, but in inorganic metal as well. If you stretch this idea out,
And the
Dr. Bosey's
autobiography
theory
of
means that
Yogi
a
is
body
also
made of
considered
metal
a
could be
crazy
every
man
bit as
book.
alive as an organic one. That robots could be alive if you just had a means of giving one a soul. We see this organic metallic
Well,
The
Yes.
book.
remnant.
The autobiography of a Yogi,
the
while
result of
considered
couple
the
guy
ramblings
enduring
of
a
a
spring
crazy
lock
man.
failure and being stuffed into Spring Bonnie. You can't tell where the organics end and the metallics begin because there is no boundary. The two systems have become one thanks to the crushing power of the spring locks. Now what would happen if you had a means of clearing the organic matter out of a used spring lock suit, destroying the organic component of the hybrid creature? You would end up with an isolated human soul residing in the original metallic robot. This is why Fungi tells us the missing children incident victims, who endured
It's
the
implied
multiple
that it's hard to
simultaneous
get
spring
off,
lock
as
failures,
seen
are
by
being
those
moved
hidden-
to an appropriate
hidden images.
location to be looked at by our technician. The
Give
novel The Silver Eyes
Give
confirmed that
life.
Purple Guy is the technician at Freddy's, so he could clear out the bodies from the MCI victims who became the withered animatronics, but was unable to do so for himself in Springtrap. It's
Did you
very
make that
significant
screen,
that
Freddy?
we received the clue about the autobiography of a Yogi
You look
in
so
the garbled phone
done.
call right after the pre-recorded Night 4 attack on Phone Guy. Everyone thinks Phone Guy is stuffed and therefore dead, but here whatever he has become calls us the very next night with the key to putting a human soul into a robot, the very thing that just happened to him after his own stuffing. Dr. Bose's theory of living metal is the principle that inspired FNAF itself. So we now have a way to put a human soul into a robot, and not just a digital copy of a mind like you see in Soma,
I'm guessing something went way wrong.
but the actual real 100% original human soul of the subject in question.
It's called
This
remnant.
technology could be used for good. It might allow terminally ill
Damn,
humans
you're
new life
stupid.
into a robotic body. It would allow a pilot to temporarily
Or immortality.
extend their awareness into the robot without physically becoming crushed inside it, giving surgeons more dexterous limbs and soldiers all the Iron Man-like powers you see in science fiction and comics. An extracted soul could fit into any sort of body, allowing one person to literally become a starship like you see in the Homeworld games. Unfortunately, Fazbear Entertainment isn't interested in the good applications, and once a human soul has been extracted in such a fashion, it's much more vulnerable than before. Why kill children and stuff their bodies into animatronics? Because Fazbear Entertainment's business is based on having the most lifelike robots possible, and how could anyone beat robots who are literally alive? And pizza animatronics aren't the only robots Fazbear Entertainment has a hand in. With their partnership with Afton Robotics, FE can provide a steady supply of precious souls that AR can use to make wondrous robots.
Mate, it's Afton Robotics who did that technology first.
For any purpose, military or otherwise, which provides the funds to
Oh,
continue
don't you
Fazbear
dare.
Entertainment's guard harvesting operation.
What's he doing?
Military or otherwise.
Are you kidding me?
Don't you dare
Soldier
do that
balloon
scrapped
boys.
FNAF script. Literally, the screenplay Scott has scrapped because what the heck, this went off the source material way too far.
This is the dark secret of FNAF 1. By 1993, Fazbear Entertainment has become nothing short of a Craigslist killer, luring in unsuspecting saps who are down on their luck for the promise of easy money, then locking them in a death trap from which few ever return, and no one would believe the stories of those who survived. But as terrible as this situation is, we have deeper to go, because we still have to explain what happened to Golden Freddy. 4 of the MCI victims were made into Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and received suits of their own, but the 5th victim became a ghost instead, not having a suit he could fully call his own. Golden Freddy is clearly a ghost in FNAF 2,
Golden Freddy was
getting
the
out of your
suit.
office and forming an impossible giant head at the end of the hall, before his disembodied head leads to your stuffing.
Big head mode.
His spectral head is also present at the bad end of FNAF 3, and is completely missing in the good ending.
Because
there never
he
was a
liked
physical head
you
there.
guys. I want
More
genocide.
specifically, Golden Freddy is one of the first phantom animatronics, a ghost that took the approximate form of the suit it was stuffed into, just appearing very early in the game well before the others were smashed and became the phantoms of FNAF 3. Golden Freddy does not have a suit of his own because he was stuffed into the Fredbear suit, and it already belonged to someone else, an earlier victim, Shadow Freddy. With careful
Hey, wait a
brightening in
minute,
FNAF
pause.
3, we can see there are actually 2
So he's implying that So he's implying there are 2 spirits within Golden Freddy?
Oh,
2 yellow bear ghosts in the
my
game.
God.
Golden Freddy, who's listed in the game simply as Phantom
Does
Freddy,
that imply
and
if
Shadow
we use
Freddy,
the modern
who's actually
day
listed by
theory
that name in the
concepts
extracted
of-
files.
Yeah.
Instead of being
Shadow
used to
Freddy.
create a
Hello,
new,
Freddy.
valuable robot, the soul of the 5th MCI victim,
Can we
Golden
pause?
Freddy, was instead placed into a
I now love the implications of the actual modern 2 spirits inside Golden Freddy theory. Does that imply Ice Crying Child might be Shadow Freddy?
Yeah.
suit that already contained a soul.
Or Cassidy
Revisiting
is Shadow
FNAF
Freddy?
2, we see Golden Freddy and Shadow Freddy again.
Either way.
While Golden Freddy is a ghost that appears empty, with unlit eyes and teeth, Shadow Freddy has brightly lit eyes and teeth, and never actually attacks the player in the game. What we're looking at is the actual withered Fredbear suit,
Shadow
but from the
victim.
hidden purple color, and the unused Shadow Freddy single-frame
what I mean?
jump scare image hidden
That
in
is
FNAF 2.
not. That I literally said this.
Well, he doesn't listen.
This
Well, of course he
is
doesn't.
just
Of course he doesn't
the
listen. This is a pre-recorded
cutscenes
video from
Freddy had.
2016.
Files, it's being controlled by a very different ghost than our friend GF. So here's the question. What happens when you
A
stuff someone into a
different
suit
ghost
that is
inside
already
Fredbear?
possessed,
This sounds
forcing
familiar.
2 souls to coexist in a single body?
What?
FNAF gives us the answer, because the situation happens not once, but twice in the games. The
Wait,
same
what?
situation that happens with Fredbear, the first golden suit, also happens with Spring Bonnie, the second golden
oh, he's
suit.
talking about Shadow
And to see
Sprinkler.
this, we need some backstory about Shadow Bonnie. Crying children are a common theme in FNAF. They're used to represent those who were killed and turned into animatronics, or the ghosts of those who had once undergone this process. Which makes it very strange that we see 2 tear streams on Springtrap. Isn't he the stuffed purple guy?
No.
The one everyone
He
thinks
is.
is the killer?
That's not a tear stream. That's withering.
Why would there be tear stains in his own personal suit? But they're not
He
an
doesn't have
optical
tear
illusion.
streams, that's
You can
just
even
a
find them in
wither.
Spring Bonnie's paper plate doll. At the time of FNAF 2,
That's
Spring Bonnie is the
withering.
only animatronic to wear a single button, which appears both on the Stage 01 sprite and Springtrap himself. Game does a good job trying to hide the button from you most of the time. How can a crying child
Where's
be
the
in
bow
Spring
tie?
Bonnie? Because in FNAF 4 we see a memory of Purple Guy fitting a
Second
much
Freddy,
shorter
second
human
Freddy.
into that suit, then closing the door, leaving us to find the dead body later in the headless Spring Bonnie suit, while the head stares at us from the shelf.
Come on, Foxy, come on. Yeah, whatever.
Compare the ears in both these scenes to Shadow Bonnie's
Yeah,
ears
whatever.
in the Glitch secret minigame
Yeah,
of FNAF
whatever.
3, and you'll find
Hey,
the
Glitch
shapes
Trap, how you
match.
doing?
The Purple Guy Easter egg in FNAF 4 is the origin of Shadow Bonnie.
How's that spring
And in
bunny
FNAF
similar
3,
to that
8-Bit
egg?
Foxy sees a blue version of SB in the West Hall just before the
Blue?
final confrontation with Purple Guy.
Is that
Shadow
going to
Bonnie
be the
is currently
thumbnail
in
of the
building.
Ego trilogy?
Why does Springtrap visibly writhe like a man
If-
trapped
if
in
we're
a
making the
straitjacket
Withered
in the trailer to
Freddy
FNAF 3,
is
and
a
keeps
different
saying
character
help me or
thing right now.
forgive me whenever he moves? Why does Springtrap play childish games with
Forgive
you,
me.
kicking in the door and running
He
behind
didn't
the
say
camera
forgive
panel?
me. He said help me.
I fucking saw that!
Why does a
just
smiling
crying for
Springtrap
help.
peel off his face to reveal a screaming Purple Guy? Because Purple
He
Guy isn't
wants
the one in
to get
control of
help.
Springtrap. Shadow Bonnie is.
You
When
what?
Purple Guy dove into the Spring Bonnie suit, it worked perfectly.
There's
The eyes
another
lit up,
ghost!
and he was able to stand
There's
up
a
and
reason
even
why he
laugh
says,
for a few
"I always
seconds
come back,
before
let
suddenly
me out."
all the spring locks gave out at once, leaving him with a
Hey, guess
surprised,
what?
horrified expression.
I'm
The
alive!
reason Phantom Bonnie doesn't appear in FNAF 3 is because he's actually the star of FNAF 3 and hides from everyone in plain sight. He even waves to you behind FNAF 1 Bonnie's dismantled torso. Shadow Bonnie is the force to
That's not
control.
if you think that's a hand, that's not.
The reason why,
It's not a
the reason
hand.
why, the reason
That's his
why
whole
he-
body.
The reason why he waves, not waves, the reason why he reveals his face, it's basically, besides it revealing the fact that he is a man inside the suit, I think it's supposed
It's
to be like a cry
pain.
for help.
Help
Yeah.
me.
I'm in the suit! Ah!
No, and it can also be
Springtrap,
like
and
he
he's
says
holding
in
his
the
own
like he
murderer,
says in
Purple
Princess
Guy,
Quest.
trapped inside the
Let
suit.
me out.
So what happens when 2 souls are forced to coexist in the same body? Going by the unity of all life theory, they start to merge, and if one is hostile, they start to devour the other. Notice how
What?
Springtrap actually
Wait, a hostile
Lord.
soul becoming... Wait, a hostile soul taking
what?
over a docile soul? Oh, because they're both in the same body?
Oh no.
Man, modern Golden Freddy theory.
Cassidy, no.
seems to be
I
eating
do what I
Fredbear's
want.
head in this picture. Notice how in the early version of FNAF World, Golden Freddy, in the form of Glitch Bear, seems to break out of Fredbear,
Glitch
looking more like
Bear!
Fredbear than ever,
Yes!
and gives
Finally,
you
we have
advice about
Glitch
how to
Bear's
thwart
counterpart.
Fredbear's plans before being absorbed again.
Shadow Freddy, I will eat your soul. Oh my goodness.
Hello, Andy.
and how in the 2.0 update,
Hello,
Glitchbear
zombie.
doesn't even emerge from Fredbear at all, even though there seems to be a struggle at one point.
Oh my god, stop!
Fredbear is being controlled by the other ghost, Shadow Freddy.
No, that was just
and
mean.
Golden Freddy is
Fredbear
struggling,
there.
but very
That was
slowly
just mean with
being
Fredbear.
eaten, which, going by
If we
Shadow
can
Freddy's
pause.
loading screen, is the very thing that it does. Not
Stop
all
it.
the souls Fazbear Entertainment harvests go into the robots. Some are chosen by the master of this place to become part of them. Fazbear Entertainment secretly steals
I am
the
one
souls.
of them.
After Robotics turns those souls into robots, what do you have when you put them together? Fear. Thanks
Oh yeah,
for watching
Fazbear
the first
Entertainment
episode
and
of
FNAF
FNAF
Robotics.
Shorts. Many more on the
Fear.
way, each one highlighting a discovery I've made about the games. I don't have all the answers, but I can show you that FNAF can be decoded.
You guys are
It
stupid.
contains an amazing story that makes all the time and energy the community has put into this project worthwhile. Join me on this journey, and together
Fazbear
Spring
Entertainment,
trap.
Afton
we'll be ready to
Robotics.
face whatever terrors
Alright,
await us in the upcoming 5th game.
He's watching TV, guys. Come on.
Sister location.
Come on, he's just
Golden
watching
Freddy.
TV, guys. Leave him alone.
And now and this is gonna be the last one for today.
the
Thank you.
finale of the
brought
Fear
food, so I'm
trilogy.
ready.
Hello everyone, Blackfoot Ferret here, and I have some Reddit confirmed breaking news about FNAF.
Why
If you
is
write
your
the image
audio
over CC's
so
bed in
shit?
FNAF 4, you'll find 2 photographs hidden in the darkness above the bed. The first is the image of a bird on a perch. The second is the image of a spectacular waterbird.
He's
The
talking
bird
like
is
a
most
set
likely a
man.
reference to the final flashback scene in the novel The Silver
I mean, he's talking like
where a very
Henry.
young Charlie points out
Yes.
to her father the funny twitching motions of a bird, accidentally inspiring him to make the animatronics as a way to please his daughter, and setting the stage for all manner of horrors in the future. The second picture appears not once,
Yo,
but
Snick,
twice
fix your
in
mic
FNAF 4.
quality.
The second time being hidden in the darkness of the West Hall, where it
I'm
shows up
sorry?
in much higher resolution.
No, he's
When I
joking.
first
He's
saw
for
that
some
joking.
reason
picture, I thought it might be from
This for
Hurricane
some
Utah,
reason-
or the
For some reason, it
novel
reminded me of
which
you,
is
but now that I
apparently a
think
real
about it, it
city
reminds
that
me
has
of
several
low quality
waterfalls
ignition.
nearby. However, Reddit folks point out that the image bears a much better
That's
resemblance to
better.
Niagara Falls, New York. And after viewing several images, I had to agree. Potentially, this means that we've found the location where FNAF 1 through 4 takes place in the United States. Niagara Falls,
Utah.
New York. Why is this bit of lore
It's in
important?
Utah.
Because it could be the key to solving
It's
Mangle's
in New
garbled
York.
police code. In most
He
U.S.
literally,
code,
the
10-1
book
means
that
bad
you read
signal.
literally
But
said
in Niagara Falls,
Utah.
New York, the code means homicide. Could Mangle have been the one who witnessed the Save Them massacre and called the police, resulting in the closing of FNAF 2? One more
That's
item I
just
noticed
static.
recently is that the clouds on the back of the
You can
FNAF 1
literally
stage
get
seem to
it.
move after
It's
one of the
literally
animatronic
free.
stages. Are
He
there
just
two
got
clouds
static
on the
randomly.
stage and they just move on
I
their
like to
own?
know, maybe
Or
the
is there
voice
actually
box
a
is just
third
picking
cloud
up
that
the
moves
radio
while the other two
waves.
stay put? This is an
Cloud
important bit of
moves.
lore because
No,
sets of 2 or 3 clouds
Scott
appear in
legit
many
got
of the
this
FNAF
like
3 minigames.
free off of the
We might just
soundboard.
provide a link between FNAF
Scott
1
didn't
and
make
Stage
that
1
sound.
minigame.
This has
Potentially,
nothing
FNAF
to
1
do
is
with
a
the
real
lore.
of the legendary Fredbear's Family Diner. My FNAF research continues to evolve.
Because he wanted the cool sound to have
I'd like to
Mangle.
give you my
Diner.
mega thread in the wiki that contains all of my FNAF research notes over the past year. There's a link in the text description box below this video. I'll also have the script of FNAF Shorts 2, The Summer Paradox, linked below in a day or two since I'm finalizing as we speak. It's an ambitious video that attempts to explain most of the pre-FNAF 1 timeline, and a moral lesson about the danger of seeking revenge. We can solve FNAF, we just have to stay focused. Good hunting.
You're not solving it.
I'm just.
I have no words.
I'm gonna kill somebody.
Really, not usual. I really
Kill
never
me.
thought they were good.
Very in.
Thank you.
I'm just laughing at Glitch Bear.
Thank you.
I'm just laughing at Glitch Bear. He's finally glitched up as a counterpart.
So that's all the recordings for today.